Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and oh my gosh, I don't know if I've been this excited for a long time. Today I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. You can always find me at 303-562-8659 and I am in the coolest thing ever. This is a P4 Cascadia chassis Explorer with bunks. Holy mackerel. Brand new for 2026. I'm inside of a bunk right now. It is literally so roomy, and as you can see, the mattress is very comfortable. It's got this cool retractable ladder, and then over here, very neat idea. It's an iPad holder. It even has like a little cord that can go out from underneath, and there's a Type C and Type A USB port, as well as two 110 outlets right there. So depending on what kind of telematics you decide to have, you can have anything in there and just use that as an open mount as opposed to having a mounted television. The other thing that's very cool is here's one side and the other. Lots of privacy here for me. So really nice feature that we don't offer in some of our Newmar products. I think that is great, which is a curtain across the bunks. But as usual, I like to start my videos from the inside out. So Jody, go ahead and take her on back. Now we don't have that far to go here because this is a mid-bath, mid-entry coach. This is a P4 Cascadia chassis. There's two chassis. There's a 126 and a 116. This is the 116, and what that means is it's going to have some cool features. For instance, now standard, you're going to find we have the Detroit 12-speed transmission, which means that this coach actually has the functioning Detroit Assurance package on it. It's a really cool package. If you've ever looked at a video where they've talked about having Detroit Assurance and they've had an Allison transmission, that's just not true. The transmission package has to be Detroit, the engine has to be Detroit, and the chassis has to be Freightliner for everything to work in conjunction. And of course, that's because this is a Daimler product, so you have to be Daimler through and through. But the 116 and the 126 house two different engines. You could put a DD13 or DD16 in a 126, but you need that extra 10 inches to put the 116 in the 126 chassis. If you have a if you've got a DD13, you can have a 116-inch chassis or a 126 inch chassis, and so that 10-inch difference is really for the hood, and it's what gives you that extra room for the bigger engine. Now this coach has 525 horsepower and it has 1,850 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 20,000-pound towing capacity, but it is a single rear axle. So that's the difference between the Explorer on a 40-foot chassis versus, for instance, a Classic on a 40-foot chassis. This is not a twin screw. It's got a single rear axle, but it still has a huge amount of towing capacity. It still has a huge amount of low-end torque, and it still has a really amazing and well-refined cab that I think you'll just absolutely love. Now this is a brand new floor plan. First and foremost, one of my favorite features of this coach is the fact that there's a window above the headrest. It's got a really nice nightstand. It's got these great cabinets. I have to tell you, nobody does cabinets better than Renegade. There is a 110 outlet up here. You can also see there are controls here to be able to turn everything on and off. You've got separate light controls here for your reading lights. You've got USB Type C and Type A outlets on both sides, as well as 110 outlets, and then you have a nightstand on the right. So very, very nice feature. And there's also enough room for each person to get out of the bed if necessary. And there's plenty of room on the floor if you need to put down a CPAP machine. So this is a really cool execution on Renegade's part. I was wondering how they were going to come up with something better than that 40 VBH, but they've done it. This is a really cool coach. Now here we've got, of course, our stackable Splendide washer and dryer. One of the things that Renegade does that's so nice is they put them on a separate compartment. Mine are stacked in my Superstar, one on top of the other. This is definitely a little bit nicer setup. And then here, underneath, we finally have a drawer to put in Tide Pods and dryer sheets. Plenty of room in here to carry all the supplies you need for your laundry. And then new for this year, first of all, so we'll talk about the Essence White furniture. So really cool white, nice matte finished paint in this coach. But one of my favorite features is that we finally have a kick plate in an Explorer, because previously we've always had just the vacuum cleaner attachments, and honestly I feel like the kick plate is so much more handy when you have all of this tile. Now there's a lot of features that are optional by Renegade. I think that when you see a lot of these coaches come through, it's important to understand there's kind of a number of boxes that we always just check. But if you're ordering a coach from us, please understand we can really help you to fine tune and get exactly what you want. This coach has a lot of cool extra features on it. Even though it was a stock order, we've got 5 200 watt solar panels, so 1,000 watts of solar. We've got 2 extra lithium ion batteries, so we've got a total of 4 lithium ion batteries for over 1,000 amp hours of battery charge. We have a second Victron inverter, so this coach does have the ability with a dedicated inverter, a dedicated inverter just for the central air. So lots of cool features on this coach. But like I said, if you're ordering one, make sure you give me a call. I can walk you through all the nuances and make sure you get exactly what you want. All of that being said, this has got such cool wardrobe space. Not only do you have your hanging space, but you have a lot of drawer space for everybody in the coach. There are so many drawers in here. We've got a total of 8 drawers back here. So you can see we've got 3 here, 2 long drawers here. These long drawers are all dovetailed. All of the drawers are dovetailed. They're all soft closed, really nicely finished. But for those of you that haven't been out in a Super C, you know, closet space is a premium. And one of the things you don't have a lot of room for is shoes. So these are great for shoes. And then up here, this little cabinet, this is a nice place to be able to keep your jewelry, your wallet, all of your stuff after the end of your hike. And then this right here is going to be a little infotainment center. Now keep in mind, another optional feature that we have on this coach is a Starlink system. So this coach has the Everest router system, which is going to be a cellular based system. You would actually use a SIM card from T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. That's the system I actually have on my Superstar. Works great. But that in conjunction with the industrial sized roof mounted Starlink system that's on this coach, you're going to have Wi-Fi for days. And if you're under a tree, you still have cellular. If you are in a dead zone while you're traveling through, you know, the Rocky Mountains, for instance, like maybe down through any of the passes where you just don't have good cellular coverage, you would have the Starlink to give you that Wi-Fi calling capability. So this coach really is kind of like doubled in terms of protection. For those of you that are working on the road or just that want to be able to watch, you know, a game that comes on, anything like that, you've got all of that technology built into this coach. Now this is a 32-inch flat screen. This is a Samsung. Everything in here is going to have the ability to have an app where you can just basically download Hulu, Netflix, any of the types of things that you use to watch TV. You do not have a satellite receiver on this coach, and one of the reasons we're not doing that is because half the people want dish, half the people want direct, half the people don't need anything. So why spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a receiver if you're not going to actually use a cable system? That being said, we can absolutely install any number of cable systems for you on the coach. Just let us know what it is. And we actually have preset pricing with installation charges and everything, upfront pricing, very easy. This dealership is fantastic when it comes to cutting a deal. The transparency and the professionalism executed by this team are second to none. So I'm very proud to work for Transwest. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this up just so we can see underneath. This is, of course, you've got a 150-gallon freshwater tank, a 75 gray and a 75 black. But anyone who's got, I don't know, hockey sticks, rifles, anything that you need that's long that you'd like to keep out of sight, very nice to have that here. And then this is also a good opportunity to show you the courtesy lights that are in this coach. That just makes it a little bit easier to get up and around at night. And then, of course, being that this coach is made for people who have children, it's really nice that there's not a whole lot of carpet in here. This is pretty much a majority of the carpet other than underneath your eating area. So really well designed, keep your toesies warm, when you're having breakfast, but also you know, easy to take care of and maintain, especially with that kick plate. Now, as you can see here, again, lots of drawer storage, and this is a lot of room. So you'll see there's 3 drawers here. That is because this coach not only has the 72 by 66, it's RV King. It's a mini RV King, but it also has the 2 bunks, which are going to be 75 by 30. I measured them. They're not 76. They're 75, but plenty of room. So you could be 6'3", not 6'4". You could probably be 6'4" and just sleep on your side. And then, as I showed you earlier, that very cool collapsible ladder. And then the other thing that's nice about this coach is not only do you have the plugins down at the end for your television, you also have an opening window here, and then you have outlets up here where your head would be as well. So super nice feature there. Now, as parents, if you want to go to bed early and let the kids stay up and play cards, of course you can go ahead and close this sliding door, which is really nice. The other thing that's great about this coach, so let's just talk about where your slides are. So this is a slide here. It goes all the way to the back where you can see that really cool accent lighting that's built into that slide cover. So this whole slide comes in, and then we have 2 slides in the front. So Jody, go ahead and turn around. This is an amazing amount of living space for a family. I'm really impressed with the amount of counter space that you have here, with the amount of room, and with how residential this feels. So this is another slide. This slide houses an 18 cubic foot refrigerator. This is a residential refrigerator. About 2 years ago, we started using these little snap locks that are magnetic, and they just slide in here to keep your refrigerator shut. One of the nice things about Renegade is that you can always tell when your refrigerator is locked. It's always a mystery in my Superstar. Like, I literally just got back from camping for the 4th of July, and on my way up I had to stop and pull over and lock my refrigerator because I couldn't tell if it was locked or not. Glad I stopped, it wasn't. This has an ice maker in it, needless to say, and then a lot of storage here. Now, we do have this coach pre-wired for the exterior refrigerator. It doesn't have the exterior fridge in it. And one of the things that's nice about that, it'll give you a choice between the Truma system, which is what Renegade would use, and then also with the Dometic. So there are definitely people who have a preference for one or the other, or maybe you just have one from your trade-in that you want to bring over. It's already set and pre-wired for you just to plug that in. Now, this is one of the coolest features that I've seen in 2026 for an Explorer. I love, like absolutely love, they did push to release, but these are removable. So if you want to stack different things that are different sizes, you could. So if you want to stack, again, frying pans, quart pots, anything like that, or just use the whole drawer space, you have that. And this is the first year that we've actually gone to these push to releases with Renegade. So historically they've just pulled out. So it's very nice to have the push to open drawers. And then as you can see with all of these, they are again dovetailed. The woodwork is amazing. I sell a lot of Newmars. I sell a lot of Renegades. I sell a lot of big RVs. A lot of people will ask me, you know, which one's better, Renegade or Newmar? And I have to tell you, with both coaches having the P4 Cascadia options in the 126 and the 116, a lot of it's going to come down to taste. There are definitely people that prefer the kind of stark, streamlined, very clean aspect of the Renegade. In all honesty, if anyone's trying to pick this product apart, there's nobody who does cabinets like Renegade. And they also come up with these really crazy floor plans. So having all of this counter space here, now when this slide is in, you don't have access to this. But when it's out, holy mackerel, these are adjustable shelves. I mean, you could have an espresso machine in here. I always talk about a coffee maker and a toaster. Shit, you could have like a Ninja blender with the top still on it. I mean, this is amazing space here. The fact that you've got such a great counter space too, if you were entertaining and you want to put out a charcuterie board or maybe some salsa and guacamole and, you know, a bunch of margaritas, you have all the room here. You got all the places for your little cocktail umbrellas. You know, all your, you know, entertainment stuff that you need, like in terms of fancy napkins and paper plates. I mean, This little counter spot is so clutch, just really, really awesome. Again, Newmar and Renegade are definitely the two manufacturers to consider, and I would encourage you, come out and see me. Give me a call. I put my number up on the back of my clipboard. I'll do it at the end of the video as well. You could always click on the link below. But come out and test drive these units. Figure out which one's the right fit for your family, because both products are pretty fantastic offerings. But this floor plan, again, another great cabinet area here. I love, you know, Renegade always does this really cool like stonework tile. As you can see, they've got a very nice undermount stainless steel sink. They had for a long time, they did kind of a ceramic coat sink, and I really like their change over to the stainless steel undermount. Everything is going to have a spray and pour feature on, you know, on an extendable, and then you have your rear kitchen window. All of the windows are optioned with the power shades. So keep in mind, things like having power MCD shades on this coach are optional. They're not standard. Another thing that's on this coach that's optional but not standard is the three-zone heated floor, and then also the ceiling fan in the bedroom, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, they've got it offset a little bit because this coach is now centrally ducted with the ceiling fan, so that you can't put it right in the middle. But just having that airflow in the bedroom is super nice. Also, you'll see that we have the true induction cooktop. One thing that I think Newmar does better is they make it removable. All of that being said, I love my true induction. They're really inexpensive. If you want to use one outside, you could just you could buy one and bring it, but just put it in a bay underneath. But this coach, literally, if you wanted to put a paper towel down underneath your pot and boil water, because it is not going to be elevation sensitive, you can boil water in about a third of the time at elevation with a cooktop like this, and you don't have to worry about that paper towel catching on fire. So in other words, huge safety feature. Of course, we all know fires inside of RVs are bad, just like they're bad in your kitchen. So if you have your little grandkids that want to like get involved in the cooking, it's really nice to have this true induction cooktop. And then once again, amazing storage. In this coach, I'll tell you personally, I feel like the one thing that's lacking is going to be a place to keep all of your spatulas and such while you're cooking, but very easily you could come up with a drawer setup here, and since this is adjustable, you could probably even come up with one that had those push-to-relief shelves like you found across the way in the pantry. If there's any modifications like that you'd like to see in your coach, all of our technicians here are grade A, and we can help you with those modifications. So here's your subwoofer for your surround sound. Lots of storage space here underneath, and again 1.7 cubic foot microwave and convection oven. So what's interesting about this is it has this latch. So this is, again, just Renegade making everything very easy to see that it's stowed and ready for travel. I cannot tell you how many people I have come in. Oh, and by the way, it has now slim fry, so for those of you that are into air fryers, you don't need to buy one, it just comes on your coach. But no, so we have people who come in with like bungee cords and like zip ties and all sorts of crazy stuff to hold things shut while you're driving. Definitely one of the best attributes of both the Renegade product line, even at the Valencia level, all the way up through the Excel level. I mean, just super solid cabinetry, really good road experience for you. Another great feature of this coach, and I think that this is so welcome, what a nice theater area. First and foremost, if I'm sitting down and I'm having a cocktail, this is a huge booth. It very easily seats 4. Renegade does the best booth configuration, because not only is this a really large booth with plenty of room for 4 people around it, it has the cushion in the back to be able to lean up against the wall while I'm having my Prosecco. It has the built-in cup holders, so if I hit a turn and the kids are having lunch, their soda's not going to go flying or skittering onto the floor. It has USB and Type-Cs to both sides, right? So everybody can have power right here in the configuration, and it converts into a bed. So all of these things are super cool about this coach. But I love the fact that they've put your TV over here, because now I can flip that chair around, sit on the couch, watch the 50-inch flat screen TV, and when I'm up and having cocktails at night, I want to watch TV, I've got little end tables there. But if I'm up in the morning eating breakfast and the kids are outside playing, I can look out the window. There's not a TV up in the way, and I can still have the news on. So I really, really like the fact that they've taken this space. I always tell people it's business, it's party in the front and business in the back. So what that means is here on the port side of the coach, this is where your neighbor's, front yard is. This is where they're, having their own barbecue. It's kind of the place you don't really look out very often anyway. And then this is your party side, right? So super nice that you have the starboard side open without the TV in front of it, because when you're watching a movie, you're not blocking your view. You're able to watch a movie and have all of the room and all the space. And what that does is it allows them to set this couch back just a little bit further. Now these are removable, right? Renegade does things differently than Newmar does. One of the things I like about them is, so first of all, if you don't think you'll use them, you don't have to bring them with you, but if you do, they're easy to store. The other thing that they do is they do a slide cover that's also removable. So as you can see, home is where you park it. Pretty cool, but this fits in that hole. Very important to have this when you have littles, and of course if you're buying a Bunk model, it doesn't necessarily mean you're traveling with kids. I have to keep saying this to people. The reason we have a Bunk is not for our kids. Now, granted, it is a huge bonus. My son has gone camping with me to music festivals more times than I would have ever gambled that my 21-year-old would actually hang out with me for 3 or 4 days at a time. So it's been a huge benefit to have it, because it's just nice that we can invite him and say, hey, we've got a place for you if you want to come, and he does. But this space up here, if you want to take these cushions out, it's got a really nice deep lip to it. You can very easily store so many bins of stuff in these different storage areas. And if you've got dogs, you could put dog beds down here and have their leashes, their dog bowls, all of the things that you need. So you can use this for storage as well as for children. And again, if you've got big dogs, to being able to cover that step while you're going down the road, of course, is going to be a nice safety feature for anybody who's got especially an older dog. So another nice feature of this coach is going to be that it has the trifold sofa. So this comes out, you've got a trifold sofa here. So this is a queen. This one's about 60 inches by about 48. So this would be for some littles, but if you had your grandkids with you, and they had some friends that they wanted to bring, you have an extra sleeping accommodation as well. And the other thing that's really nice about this furniture set is that it has cup holders. So even if you decided not to bring the tables with you, you could put your cup holders here. Now, of course, the tables are clutch, because if you're watching a movie and you've got popcorn and snacks, you can put these in place and have a place to keep your popcorn and your snacks. So really think that they thought this through. This was a long-awaited release for Renegade. We were really looking forward to having it come out, and it's just been done so well. One of the best things about Renegade is this is like 6 feet of unadulterated storage. So you can put all the shoe boxes that you get from Costco, label them in here, that you know exactly what size they are. You can stack them whichever way you want. They're easy to pull in and pull out. It's just a great way to do storage. Not every compartment's a little bit different. It's just very, very uniform. Again, manufacturers do things differently, but one of the things that Newmar or that Renegade does consistently is they make their storage very useful, very broad. So up here you can see we've got one of our we've got the controller for our awning. We've got cable inlets here for TV. We also have up here in this compartment all of our fuse sets. Newmar and Renegade both have really nice breaker panels that are labeled, as you can see, the whole way through. One of the things that's nice about Renegade is that they actually separate the ones that run off of the inverter versus the ones that can run off of just the chassis battery, so that you know whether or not you need to have your generator running when you check that breaker. And then the equalizer leveling jack system used to be in the upper cabinet over here, but now with this bigger chassis, as you can see, I have plenty of headroom here where I can actually put it up above my head. And of course, this is all self-leveling, so you don't have to do anything fancy. It just works really well. And then up here, there's a whole bunch of telematics in this compartment, but they don't want you to have that weird look where it doesn't match. So as opposed to just making this a flat, they put a panel there. And of course that gives access for the mechanics to get in. And so now that we're at the front, I really want to cover one of the reasons you'd consider buying this coach. So first and foremost, like the new, there's a little lane assist built into the column here. But one of the most important things about getting into any chassis that has a DD13 or 16 that is built on a Freightliner that has the Detroit transmission, has the Detroit assurance package. And this is such a cool, cool system. So distance-based cruise control, lane departure warning, adaptive side guard assist, all of it is in here. And this chassis, like, it's just so cool how well it works. You can see your tire pressure, you can see your temperature, you can see the battery life of those monitors all right here on the screen. You know, just fantastic. And then again, you have such nice features like the Mercedes-Benz navigation. So this is all Daimler, right? So you've got a really high-end, high-functioning level of navigation because it's something that you find on $100,000, sports cars. And so it works so well. The voice control is so nice to use. The infotainment systems and the way that you network everything is so well displayed. But most importantly, everything that I'm doing here, I can actually do by just touching a knob over here. So I'm controlling that screen without bending down, just by rolling through here. And then when I'm on this screen, I can roll through all of my different, engine loads. I can take a look at my PSI. Everything is here at the touch of a button. Then I've got my lane tracking package. I've got my both my DEF and my fuel are both showing always consistently right here on the front of the dash. That's a big deal for Freightliner. It's something that they changed when they changed their chassis in 2023. And then as you can see here, I'm ready for Bluetooth pairing. I don't have any route guidance active, but if I did, I could see all of the things that this over here is showing me right here on this main screen. So I'm looking forward, looking straight ahead. So I've got these two great monitors. But one of the things that's so clutch about this is I've got a dedicated Voyager monitor up top as well. So not only can I see everything around me in my cab with all of it ergonomically facing towards me, I can also see what's going on behind me and around me in a separate monitor. So while I'm driving, if I'm changing lanes, I can make sure someone's clear. I can line up my Jeep if I'm setting my Jeep. So this whole system works really, really well. Up here we have, of course, your air horn versus your... But I like having a horn here because sometimes there's like a little kid like riding a bike in a park or something, and you just need to like be like, hey dude, get out of my way. And you can just do a little tap instead of scaring the heck out of him. So trailer brake is of course air, and then here's your parking brake. Here we have the electric engine or the electric trailer brake. And then we have footwell lighting, a light test. Of course, that's where you test all of your lights before you go on any trip every single time. You can turn off that lane tracking package, which is really nice. You can also turn off the regen. And then as you see here, so you've got the diff lock for the rear. So this does not have a twin screw, right? So this still has a rear diff lock. It doesn't have the front and back. It just has the side to side. And then the suspension dump is really important if you're loading up a Jeep or anything that's a little bit taller, or even if you're just leveling and you're going to have a really uneven surface. You don't want to overextend your front leveling jacks. You can dump your suspension right here. And then your climate control, of course, is super, it's nice. Again, once it's facing you. You've got USB type C's right here. You also have a 12 volt here if you want to put in a radar detector. This is definitely a coach that you could speed in. This is a pretty beefy engine. One thing I really love about the P4 Cascadia chassis is that they have built-in mirrors with lights, so I can do my lip gloss before I jump out of the coach. And then they have all the room for Prada. So if you are a big sunglass person, this is carpet lined. You can throw your glasses up there, not worry about getting them all scratched up. It's also pre-wired. So if you want to be able to put in a Cobra system for your walkie-talkie, you could do that. I think most people actually probably use like WhatsApp now or something like that. But you never know. Maybe the walkie-talkie thing's still good. So the Sears racing seats are super nice. One of the things that's nice is it has this little turn lever in here. I'll just show you on this one, Jody, so you can see it easier, where you can change the height of the armrests so that they adjust down to where they stop. So if you're a little more petite, you can have them stop a little higher. If you're a little bit bigger, you can have them stop lower. There's one on each side. They are air leveling seats, and they do spin around. And again, you could turn this nice seat around and have 3 people on the couch, so you could have 4 people watching TV. And then there's so much room in this coach if you needed to bring in a few, outside, lawn chairs or whatever for people to watch TV on the inside. This is a gigantic amount of space in this coach. And of course, this is one of the benefits that you get by moving out of the Verona level into the Explorer. There's one Verona that comes with the 3 slides. Most Veronas just come with 2, but when you get into the Explorer and you get into that triple slide, or you get into an LE with a triple slide, Renegade's just really good at making the space huge. Now, another thing that's super nice about this coach, I'm gonna turn this off. I got the radio rocking. Is the fact that we have a very cool control system that is offered on this coach. So let's go ahead and hit cancel. So one of the things I like about this, so when I was getting this coach ready to show you guys today, I went ahead and I was using my app controls. So as you can see, I've got front and rear slides. I can go ahead and hit retract. Oh, you want to see the bathroom, Jody? I'm going to show you the bathroom. Jody, we're going to look at the bathroom, but we're going to look at it after the slides are closed because it's so easily accessible. Now, honestly, you guys, I forgot to show the bathroom, but this is why Jody makes the big bucks, because he's invaluable to us. But so I'm doing this with my phone. So granted, we've got control panels throughout the coach. It's just super nice to be able to actually do my slide control on my phone. And, oh, there we go. I just popped out of it. Let me do the front, the other one, retract. Because I can do it not only from, oh, that's the hydraulic one. It's so fast. Woo! Not only from inside my coach, but I can use this from outside of my coach. And I love that, because if I'm like putting my slides out, let's say the kids are sleeping, wife's getting them, teeth brushed, tucked in, whatever, and I need to be able to put my slides out and I don't want to hit a tree, I can do it from outside of the coach with the app and actually see what I'm doing. And then as you can see here, tons of walking room. And this is with the slide out, but you would still be able to access, even with the slides in, this amazing bathroom. This is such a luxurious amount of space. And finally, you guys, we have the Aquamizer leveling system, or water recycling system in this. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, Newmar's done this for years. Basically, you have 150 gallons of fresh water on this coach. You've got 75 gallons of gray and 75 gallons of black. So, I mean, that's a really big offset, right? So if you don't want to run out of room in your gray water tank, you can preheat by just putting on this recycle button all of the water in that 150 gallon freshwater tank, and you can get it nice and hot, and this will actually turn red when it's warm enough. And when you get in the shower, instead of running your water down the drain while you're getting it warm, it's running behind the scenes until it's warmed up, and then you switch it over, and then it starts going down the drain. Now, one of the best things about this as well is 250 pound weight rating on this teak bench, but I can shave my legs, plenty of room. I have, again, that really cool, inset here. I've got a great place to keep my my toothpaste, my toothbrush, my shampoo, my conditioner, my body wash. In my Superstar, I don't have anything like this, so it's all on the floor. So it's really nice that they have these little cabinets up here. And then a nice glass, 3-tier sliding door. Now, one downside to this is in getting rid of the 35-inch radius shower, which I know we all love to hate. I can't lock my husband in the shower anymore, or my kids. They can get out, so I'm gonna have to use duct tape. Okay, look at this. Holy macaroni. Yeah, talk about saving the best for last. So much room. And again, these are all adjustable, so whatever you want to put in here, you can fit for sure. There's no reason for you to complain about not having enough room in this coach. It has so much space. A great place to keep a hairdryer, right? And then again, I've got a fantastic fan here, fantastic fan in the kitchen, and I've got opening windows, more storage underneath, again, all adjusting shelves, huge space underneath the sink. One of the things that Renegade does that I think is super nice is they do these seamless undermount sinks. So there's no like place to get the goopy stuff, you know, where you have to clean in the cracks and crevices. Like it's a single faucet head with a really nice, like smooth undermount sink. You've got a towel rack here. The one thing that this coach is missing is the same thing that's missing in mine. For some reason, they just don't put robe hooks on Bunk models. I mean, I'll tell you, when you got a bunch of kids running around, you need a robe hook more than anybody else. So on this coach, it has a 450D aqua hot unit, which is a hydronic heating system. So you've got tankless hot water. There's no propane on this coach. It's all electric. And then you also have hydronic heat, which comes out of, for instance, like this little heat register here. And so what that means is the 450 actually has a much better system than, for instance, a 250D, which is what you'll find on, for instance, a Verona. When you move into the LE and the Explorer model, you get the larger aqua hot unit, which has got a bigger reservoir, which gives you better heating potential for being in all climate conditions. So your heat pumps, which you've got 2 of on this coach with 15,000 BTU air conditioners, only work to about 36 to 38 degrees. They really just start to blow in tepid air at that point in time. They're not really warming the coach. That being said, hydronic heat can be either run off of your 50 amp, 30 amp, or it can be run off of your diesel burner. So this coach has 120 gallon fuel capacity that you could actually run the hydronic system off of. And what it will do is it heats that tube of liquid that goes underneath the coach, and then it pushes air over that hot tube through these vents. And so you can get a nice warm coach even if you're boondocking. So you can do that directly off of the diesel burner without running any of your, without having a power cord. And again, you can also run your air conditioner off of the batteries without being plugged in because you've got that second inverter. Oh, I lied. They have it. Jody, this coach is just all around better than my RV. I'm gonna have to talk to upper management about getting me another demo unit. Okay, so just so we don't cheat, I think it would make sense to go ahead and retract the rear. So we will pull this in. Because I do think it's important not to cheat. You know, I want to show you what this coach looks like closed up. And this is something that no other manufacturer does as well. There is so much room in this coach. Jody, you want to trade places? If you go over here, you can see, you can still get back there and do laundry. You can fold everything, put it on the bed. But look at this space here. Like if you had like a big old dog and you needed to be able to have room for your dog going down the road, holy macaroni, you've got it. Now keep in mind, these cabinets are no longer accessible, so make sure you get that blender out before you get on the road. No, I'm just kidding. Don't make margaritas while you're driving. It's illegal. Is it illegal? Can you do that? Like, I don't know. Maybe you can. I probably should. There's your Starlink. There's your Wi-Fi router. Again, adjustable shelves. Lots of room up here to put some like umbrellas, maybe a headlamp or 2 in case it's dark. Maybe some birding books, your binoculars, whatever you might want to have while you're about to enter into the wild blue yonder. Something that I didn't have in my 2020 Verona, which I think is really clutch, is a built-in shade at the door. I know it sounds like something that we would always think of, but when I had my 2020, I was like, how do you keep it dark up here? Like, you don't. I like the handrail. We're gonna hop out here. I did put the awning out earlier. It did not stay out. This is definitely a smaller awning set, so in this coach, it's a big awning, don't get me wrong, but I have 2, which I do like having. The funny thing is, I don't get to use my awnings very often because it's always kind of windy. Like this is like not a studio effect, this is just natural. I am such a nerd. We talked about that lane tracking package and the blind spot monitor being now inside that A-pillar. This is the sensor for it right here. Something that Renegade's done for a really long time really well is these great step plates getting into the cab of this coach. And as you can see here, super easy access, lots of things to hold on to get you in here. For people who have mobility issues, it's actually easier to get into a Cascadia chassis than probably any other Super C. So if you don't know that, that is true. If you want to test it for yourself, come on out and try it. You'll notice here that there's no access to your 120-gallon fuel tank. It's a single tank. It's going to be on the other side as well as your DEF tank. So we're going to go ahead and pop this out. Maybe. I always have a hard time with this one. It's because I'm not meant to do mechanical work. There's one side. Let me get the other. Here's your, you got your camera, side cameras built in there. If you want an Explorer with a 360-degree cameras, you have to buy a Newmar. So they have a Supreme Air now that is on the same kind of chassis. It's got the 525 horsepower, 1,850 foot-pounds of torque, Detroit engine, Detroit 12-speed transmission, Freightliner chassis, spring leaf suspension. But this coach has a rear view backup camera and side cameras. The Newmar product has a 360 overhead. I do think that that would be nice to have here. I actually use mine a lot, more so not for backing up, but to like avoid hitting the picnic table, because these long wheelbases, which Super Cs are infamous for having, do have a bit of a, they've got a lot of butt and they've got a really wide turning radius. So just something to be aware of. As you can see here, access to your windshield washer fluid and your jumper cables are the most important thing for everybody to know, because you need to make sure you've got fluid and that you can jump your coach in case you need to. In terms of servicing your vehicles, our store is a full chassis. We're Daimler Elite certified. Oh, it's locked. Do you know about this trick, Jody? Jody knows about all the tricks. There's a little guy here, and you have to close this back up to be able to close your hood. So if you ever get like to the point where you went and you filled your windshield washer reservoir and you can't figure out how to close your hood, that was as hard as it is. Now you don't have to ask anybody, you watch the video. But anyway, so Daimler Elite certified. One of the things I tell people, you know, if you think you can comprehensively service this entire vehicle, you're welcome to. The amount of money you would save in changing your own oil and like maybe like an air water separator, or, you know, putting in a fluid top off versus allowing us to do the whole thing is really not that much. And if you're messing around under the hood of your coach and you don't do all the things that you should do for maintenance, you could really do some damage long-term to your RV. I'd highly recommend you choose any of our 3 locations, either in Grand Junction here in Frederick, Colorado, or in Belton, Missouri, to do your service, or go to any of the, you know, 300 Freightliner facilities across the country. Have them do your chassis service for you, even though you have this. Of course, the access is going to be easier. It's going to be tempting to want to wrench on your own vehicle. But if you're not a guy who really knows the ins and outs of the entire chassis and where to, you know, pull your drip releases for your brakes and all the little things that you're supposed to do, don't do it yourself. Let us do it for you. We have camping on site. You can't see it past the reeds over here, but you can come in and we can do your service for chassis one day, bring your coach back before 5:30 in the evening. You move back in, we do your house service the next day. So you can come up here and get everything done in one place. I highly recommend. Okay, so I love the Blackout package, right? So that looks so tough. I like the fact that on this Explorer, we don't have the black mirrors. These are a lot easier to keep clean, in my opinion. Black mirrors and bugs just don't mix. I just delivered a coach out to Missouri, and oh my God, it had so many bugs. Again, we have all of the Victron energy management system now is on a slide tray. Now this isn't something you can just remove without, you know, undoing a few screws, but as you can see, it does slide out for when it needs to be serviced. And then you've got your Dragonfly batteries here as well. Again, that lithium ion system is going to give you all of the power that you need in the coach. This undercoating is something that's also optional. You'll see it in most Renegades. It's really nice. It's super durable. You've got a little grommet there so you can run things out. Another thing that we're really known for with Renegade are the dual latches on these doors. These are super, super solid when you shut them. Like they sound good. This is a 42-inch flat screen TV, so 32 in the bedroom, 42 outside, and then 50 on the port side. You've got sound bars in both of them. There are USB ports out here to charge your phone, so if you need to do that. And then just nice little JBL sound bars everywhere. And those will Bluetooth into your phone as well, so if you want to play your track list, you're welcome to. Here's that big 450D Aqua Hot unit. So you'll notice here where it says hot and cold. Only a non-toxic propylene glycol-based boiler antifreeze, which meets FDA standards. So in other words, you need Aqua Hot juice. If you don't have a gallon of Aqua Hot juice and you're in the middle of the forest, you're not going to have hot water and you're not going to have heat. Well, you'll have heated floors, you'll have heat pumps, but you won't have hot water. So I would highly recommend coming in, buying your coach from me, and then telling me you watched my video, and I'll give you a free gallon of Aqua Hot juice that will fit very nicely in this little bay, and you can go ahead and go down the road without having to worry about trying to get Amazon to deliver to you in the forest. Another nice feature of the Explorer is going to be the touchpad here. So for anybody who has a coach that wants to be able to leave their keys behind because maybe they're going kayaking or hiking and they're just afraid of losing stuff, right here you've got this great touchpad so you can lock up the coach when you're away. You can also unlock and unlock all of your doors without having to have a single key. And then here you'll see our battery disconnect for the house is here in the center. The only thing I think is kind of wackadoodle about this is that e-start button. If you want to be able to use your house batteries to start your chassis, you have to hold this down. And if you're by yourself, Grant Russell's the one who told me you just have to tape it. I think that's so silly. You can control your awnings here if you don't want to use the app on your phone. And then the screen door, when it's closed, will actually retract the step if it's not locked, which is also very nice and handy. And then you can cover this so you can get fresh air throughout the coach or close it all together. As I mentioned earlier, big deal about this coach. If you can imagine this at a twin screw, you'd have a whole lot less bay here. So you have this whole extra bay where you would have a wheel if you had a twin screw. Those are the window covers for the front, and then those are the slide locks. Those slide locks go on top of the slide when the coach is closed up to make sure that the slides don't leak out. I never used mine, don't tell anybody. I don't know, my slide never came out. I've heard that you should use them though, so if you have this coach, you should use them. Here are your vacuum cleaner hoses. Again, not nearly as important as they used to be because now you have that kick plate. There's some extra tile here as well. And then I'm gonna go grab my phone so that we can show you how these slides pop in and out with the phone app. Now, keep in mind also, this coach has been optioned out with a few extra side marker lights going down the side of the coach, just so that you have better visibility. And you have all these nice LEDs up above the door and over your front area so that you can actually see what you're doing at night. Again, 20,000 pound towing capacity. This is all pre-wired for your Voyager system if you'd like. There's your rear view backup camera up top. You also have those 3 little lights. Those are brake lights up top. So if you put the brakes on, you're not only seeing your LEDs here, you're seeing them up top so people will know to stop behind you. And as you can see, nice LED lights here. I am going to, so I could choose a number of different ways to do this. So first of all, on my app, when I get here, let's see if I can show this on TV correctly. I have a whole bunch of different things I could choose. I can go here to power and hit stop. And this will actually stop my generator without having to go in and manually stop it. Now, this is an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. It does have a start stop over here on the left next to where the gen hours are on this coach. But keep in mind, this also has a circuit breaker on it. It has a breaker on it. If it trips and it's not working, you may have your generator on and not have power. Always make sure you check that breaker to make sure that it's not tripped. Here in this rear compartment, all new Explorers will come with a 50 to 30 amp downsizer, as well as a 50 amp 30-foot shore cord on a power reel. And then also we have the surge protector in this rear bay. This is a really important thing to note though. If you don't cover this hole while you're driving, your cord will leak and it will drag out from underneath your coach. until someone tells you that it's been dragging all the way from Frederick to Lyman. Speaking from experience. Don't do that. Make sure you put that cover in place. This is on a power reel, which of course makes everything nicer in my opinion. If you've ever had to demo a coach where you're showing somebody an RV and it's 30 degrees outside and sleety, it's kind of nice not to have to pull those in on your test drive. This is for a gravity hose. This coach has the optional flow jet. Now I know I call it optional. Most people have it. So you would order the coach without it if you didn't want to have it. If you're ordering a stock coach, we're putting on just about everything that we have. It's just a double macerator system that pumps the sewage out. But one of the great upgrades for 2026 in this water bay is that you've got a gray and a black tank release, and these are a nice electronic valve instead of having those cable valves that we used to have. Sea level has not always been here. My 2020 coach did not have sea level. It had very inaccurate leveling systems, and everybody that had a Renegade was upgrading their coach to the sea level system. This coach now has sea level standard, started in 2021, so it's been out for a while. But having a gray tank rinse, the sea leveling system, the FlowJet macerator, and then this really cool, handy new place to keep your sprayer, which actually has different types. It has flat, vertical, shower, soaker, cone, and jet and mist. So as opposed to the previous shower head. So this is actually very useful. I use mine mostly to clean off my paddle boards. I don't know what you use yours for, but I love that. And then I love the fact that last year they started coming out with the clear housings for your whole house water filter across the entire RV industry. I mean, that's just nice. If your water filter is gross and your water's not the right color, why wouldn't you want to see that? I mean, of course you want to see that. So that's very cool. So you can see your flow jet's turned on here, but let me show you where it's at. It's in this bay. And one of the things that's nice about having a power, like a flow jet or a SantaCon system, is you could actually put a hose in the middle of this. So if you had, for instance, again, 150 gallons of fresh water, and you didn't have your laundry finished, you could actually pump out that 75-gallon gray tank to a local drain. It's not popular. People aren't stoked that you're doing it, so I wouldn't advertise hey, I'm spraying gray water all over the place. But it's totally safe. It's not like you're dumping sewage. But you could actually create more room in your coach so you could finish that last load of laundry, do that last load of dishes, whatever it is before you're packing up. So I think that that's really nice. These are, they do have 110 volt heat pads on them. These are just your gray and black water tanks. Again, those are 75 each. And that freshwater tank underneath, if you can imagine your bed on a really cold camping trip, you could heat that up with that aquamizer system, and you'd have hot water warming underneath your bed. If you don't like it hot while you're sleeping, make sure you think about that, because if you get that water up to a nice hot 120 degree temperature and it's underneath your sleeping surface, if you're a guy who runs hot, you might not like that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, again, huge storage bays here, lots and lots of room. And what's nice about this system here is our chassis batteries are now separate from our house batteries in completely different compartments. And that's a really good safety feature with these BMS systems. They don't control AGMs, they just control your lithionics. And then if you saw that air chuck that was underneath on the other side, that's for here. And keep in mind, this will air up your tire to full, but if you start from zero and try to air something up, it's gonna take a little bit of time. So it's not a super fast system. And I caution people because they find that out while they're camping and they're mad. And if I tell you up front, then it's a lot easier. So as you can see here, this is where your chassis on-off switch is. So I already showed you house. And then we've got our telescopic steering column here. You don't have to step on anything to make it go in and out. And also you've got all of your nice pneumatic, lumbar support here. We do have a plug-in for your engine battery. You should definitely, or engine warming bay, you should plug this in. if you are somewhere where it's cold, a cold start on your engine can trip a fault in your coach. That's just as you started it cold, and when you go to get it turned off, they'll charge you like $186 for diagnosis, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. Or you could just make sure it's not cold when you start the engine. Okay, 120-gallon fuel tank, 6-gallon def tank. Again, super nice, easy to get into system for this coach. This is a big chassis. So it's got big steps getting into an awesome cab. As you can see, you've got marker lights here, so when your doors are open, people will see that you got your door open. Freightliner really takes great pride in trying to think through things. The other thing that this coach has, which is an optional feature, is the tinted cab windows. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about the interior cabinet color, Essence White Maple cabinets. That was the Denali interior, which is probably one of the most common interiors you'll see across the Renegade board. And then this is the Polaris paint on the exterior. So really nice, non-metallic, you know, badass looking coach. This is a stock number 5N250130. Again, 5N250130. This coach is available. My name is Katie. You can find me at 303-562-8659. Dean Jones was nice enough to let me run his video today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll give me a call and let me know how I get you out on the road and camping.